Hey guys, so listen, a few of you were talking about the WooCommerce checkout there, and I wanted to go over some of these unique things that, after staring at WooCommerce for 10 years and really studying a lot of different features, this is what I've learned. Much like, I don't remember what year it was, but one time I proposed a patch that said, look, when you go to checkout using Stripe, the Stripe keyboard or the fields, the form fields that say enter your numbers, they should all be switched to telephone, which means on your phone that brings up the telephone numeric keypad. Because everything is about all of those little micro instances where you've got the customer and you've got to make sure every little detail works correctly. Just like in Any Given Sunday, whenever Al Pacino said, it's a game of inches, that really is the case. So let's jump in here and look at one of these that I thought was just absolutely, it was just kind of one of those, why didn't I think of that? Look at this, let's see, that's a GIF. All right, so we can open that up and look at that, just in and of itself. Somebody said in the group, why is this such a big deal? Well, here in the States, and I don't know if this is, true all over the world, but for somebody to be able to just simply put in the zip code and have 2 extra fields filled out, that's a big deal. And have the state and the city automatically fill out, that means that the customer can now skip those 2 fields. That's a big deal. I mean, that's 2 more, that's 2 more fields that they're not filling out. Just like whenever you have something set up like Apple Pay or Amazon Pay or something like that, you're giving the customer an easier path between payment and getting their items. Because your goal is to always make money and have good conversions with your store, right? So every time you do any little thing, and it all adds up to, a lot. If you increase it by 0.3% by having something like this action right here, and then you remove all distractions, okay, from the checkout page, which is excellent. All right. If you have something like the progress bar, which is always recommended, which is almost always, there we go. That's always recommended, but the point is, this plugin does that as well. Yes, just like cart flows. Yes, just like Arrow. But this each one has its own unique. They all have an overall purpose and goal, and that's great. But this one has, just that unique part there about being able to pop in the zip code, and of course, it automatically pulls in the other 2 fields of what city and what state. That's 2 less fields. That's awesome. The fact that this one, of course, just like the other ones, will, of course, work with any of the, especially Jilt, be able to work with the abandoned cart plugins and follow-up plugins, things like that. And again, all of those things add up. It's not just about this plugin. It's about getting something in there. And like, like Brian said, oh yeah, that's the default WooCommerce checkout page on Storefront. I understand that WooCommerce is free. It always has been free. The barrier for entry is very low. And although WooCommerce loves to tout that it's installed on 8,492,2,687 billion websites, it's like breathing air. It doesn't cost anything. It's really free. The right stores that care about their conversions and care about, really getting above that low barrier of entry, those are the ones that get something like Arrow checkout, cart flows, And just like checkoutwc.com is offering, with theirs, I just absolutely love this. But let's look at a couple more. All right, so it's $129, and I went back over to the group over there, and Jade says, that's a hefty investment. This is the beautiful thing about WooCommerce, WordPress, and all that. I think it's free, period. But that really does set up the store owner to a really psychological low barrier of entry. WooCommerce is free. WordPress is free. Stripe, Stripe and PayPal payment gateways are free. Everything is free. Let's all hug a unicorn, fart rainbows, and everything's free, right? No, that doesn't work. There's some plugins that are funded from, automatic WordPress.com revenue, things like that. But then you get some of these independent plugins and things like that are going to raise the bar, and they're really not that expensive. $129 for a year. That's about $10 a month. And if you go look at your bank statement, go to chase.com right now while you're watching this video. Pull up your bank statement and look at what did you spend $250 on a month? $250 on every week. If it's $10 a month, $129 a year, what did you spend $2.50 on this week that is totally worthless? And you start to put all that in perspective, and you say, wait a minute, that's only $2.50 a week. It's only $10 a month. It's $129 for the year. However you want to phrase it, it's really not that cheap. It's really not that expensive. What is cheap and what is expensive? Listen carefully. What is expensive? What is laborsome? What is tiresome? What is exhausting? Listen carefully. Is to continually send people to default WooCommerce checkout pages. That costs you time. That costs you ads if you're running ads. If you've got all kind of social media, Twitter, Bookville, Gram, whatever post going on, and you're continually driving traffic, or you've got email retargeting set up. Not having a page that is designed for better checkouts, that is expensive. That is very, very, very expensive. Whether you're using Arrow checkout, you're using cart flows, or you're using checkoutwc.com, either way, not having a checkout page that is optimized in some way other than default, that is very, very expensive every time. And of course, I absolutely love Brian's comment there that says, yeah, this is the default WooCommerce checkout. And in that particular example that he led with, they even left the sidebar on. And you can put a custom sidebars in your site on a per page basis, big long rabbit hole tutorial that I'm not going to get into. But again, back to what I was saying, leaving it as default, that is expensive. But just like all the other, or not all the other, but a lot of the other recommendations here, you've got these little tabs that give the user some progress, so that I absolutely, again, just having dug through analytics after analytics and looked at page flow after scroll depth after just all kinds of things. Simple, above the fold, normal desktop, laptop, or obviously mobile, but having just a simple boom, that's it. Or that one right there is it. Every bit of this is always above the fold. You're not going to have some big gigantic scrolling page like you did, like in his example right here. You guys know this is the somewhat. When you've got this page right here, and it's an actual page, not just an image, you've always got to sit there and just scroll forever. And the customer, remember, Your customer is on the inner tubes. They're floating down the stream of information. That fast, they're gone. Period. And, again, to tie that in with what she said about, wow, that's a hefty price tag. Well, it's a hefty price tag if you don't have it. It really is. It's a very expensive thing to have a store and not a cash register. If when you think about it that way and just realize that, having a checkout page that works, that's always important. And to have it up there for, let's see, what was it? $129. I mean, I don't want to say that's a no-brainer, but my God, take my money. That's $10 a month, $250 a week. Please. I mean, I don't know what your profit margins are on every one of your stores, but $2.50 a week. Make one sale, it pays, you always hear those comparisons. Make one sale and it pays for itself. No, really. Make one sale and I would hope to God your profit margin is at least $2.50. That one sale, yeah, every week. Or however you want to market, math, backtrack, justify it. But again, not having some kind of optimized checkout page is really expensive. But I want to show you one of the other features that I enjoyed as well. Okay, this may be totally geeky and nerdy for a lot of people, but I always read the directions. Always read the directions. You know that one guy that will never stop and ask for directions? That ain't me. I always read the directions. If something is not documented, I want it documented. I want hooks. I want filters. I want to know that I know that I know that I know what I'm buying before I get it. Kind of difficult to do when you're online a lot of times. However, if you haven't looked at all of this, I want you to look at the docs as well. Because in here you can see that it's integrated with social login, and they also have all of their templates and hooks documented as well. How many people do that? So if you've got somebody else working on your site and they come along and say, oh my goodness, this is going to take me 3 hours to get familiar with this new checkout that you have implemented in your store. So you've hired a subcontractor and they've come in and said, I have no clue how this works. I have no clue what it is. Where can I find out more information about it? You as the store owner are sitting there going, I don't know. I got a business to run, man. Figure it out. Okay, so now with Checkout WC here, they can just simply go to this page and find the docs, find the articles, and it's well laid out and explained. If you want to bust out the text editor, bust out Sublime, and you want to start tinkering around with, website stuff and not just WooCommerce business stuff, then you can do that as well. And that's a big deal also. And, the last thing that I would just want to make sure that everybody looks at, notices, is directed to, red flag, flare gun, sirens. Look at the normal, if you're using whatever checkout page configurator solution that you want to. Make sure that you pick one that has integration for whatever you're using, because a lot of times you'll find that some of these do not have any integration at all. In other words, if you're using some type of solution for abandoned carts, if you're using a specific payment gateway or something like that, if they don't mention it up front, you don't know. What I do like about this is that they do have integration with the infamous Jilt and a few other ones. So anyways, I think that answers kind of all the questions there about that everybody was having about the plugin. If you've got any more questions, like I said, do not hesitate to ask. If I can't answer it, I'll make sure I get somebody in here who will answer it for you. Okay? Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.